Potential investors of the Cebu ART Network Phase 2. In a previous chapter video, we proposed a Metro Cebu ART Network Phase 1 that may attract the Ayala, Aboitiz, and SM conglomerates to fund the project. The ART network is composed of 2 lines. Each of the 3 conglomerates have huge commercial parks or properties in most of the stations traversed by the 2 ART lines. The 3 conglomerates may finance the red line and the green line of the proposed Metro Cebu ART Network Phase 1. These 3 conglomerates are not the only ones that have huge commercial parks or properties in Metro Cebu. These are the other Filipino conglomerates that have huge commercial parks or properties in Metro Cebu as well. They have been burdened by the horrendous traffic conditions. Their businesses could do much better if traffic in the metro can be significantly reduced. We now look at tapping other conglomerates with huge investments in Metro Cebu. These are the locations of their investments other than those shown in Phase 1. We can create a line called the Brown Line starting at Fuente and ending up in SM Mandaue. The line connects 2 commercial developments of JG Summit and 2 commercial developments of SM. We can create another line called the Blue Line starting at Galleria and ending up at City de Mare. The line connects 2 commercial developments of JG Summit, 1 development of Megawide, and 1 development of Philinvest. Up to this point, we now have 4 ART lines that can be financed by conglomerates. We now look at tapping more conglomerates with huge investments in Metro Cebu. These are the locations of their investments. We can create a line called the Orange Line starting at Mez 2 and ending up at Amisa or Aruga. The line connects 2 commercial developments of JG Summit and the Lopez Group, 1 development of the Ayala Group, and 1 development of Megaworld. Towards the mountains, we can create another line called the Purple Line starting at Marco Polo and ending up at Ayala Heights. The line connects 2 commercial developments of JG Summit and the Ayala Group. At tops, there are prominent owners and companies with huge properties surrounding the area. They can join a consortium that may finance this line. This is a tabulation of the data of the 6 ART lines. Each table includes the name of the line and its stations. To examine more detail of each station, let us look at one table containing the station data of the red line and green line. This table will show who is the owner or developer of the station. It is either a conglomerate, the government, or private owners of smaller properties. It will show the business area surrounding the station of which the ART investor benefits. It will also show the practical or recommended area of the station as an added incentive for the ART investor to create additional income. There are intermediate stations that are needed to get from one station of a conglomerate to another. An example is the Maximum Station. The lot needed for the station may be hard to acquire as it would mean acquiring land with buildings from several property owners. A minimum of 0.5 hectare is recommended for the terminal on the ground and some commercial spaces on the upper levels. Most stations will provide huge benefits to the conglomerates. For example, in the red line, the route will pass by IT Park, Cebu Business Park, and South Coast City. The properties, totaling 103 hectares, is being developed by Ayala and SM. Lot prices in the area is averaging 150,000 pesos per square meter. A mass transportation in the area will significantly increase its property values. On top of this increase in value, the ART investor will earn income from ticket fares of the ART and the commercial spaces within the station. The windfall benefits may be enough to finance the red line. In the case of stations inside the properties of the conglomerates, there is no need for a big station to accommodate a huge number of commercial spaces. There are commercial spaces around the station that is thousands of times bigger. About 0.5 hectares will be enough to accommodate the terminal for the connecting modes of transport. In the case of stations inside government properties, the stations can be made bigger. More vacant spaces are available. Besides, the properties will be owned by the government after the concession period. An example is both the Marco Polo and South Terminal stations, where station areas can be made 1 to 3 hectares. This is a picture of the 6 ART lines and their corresponding stations in Metro Cebu. It shows the location of the stations where the 8 conglomerates have major business interests. They are located in 18 out of 26 stations, or 70% of the total. In most cases, their businesses will be connected with each other within just 10 to 20 minutes. This is a similar picture of the 6 ART lines. In this picture, the stations with no presence from conglomerates are highlighted in color. There are 4 lots that are owned by the government and highlighted in yellow. There are 4 lots that are owned by the private sector and highlighted in green. These 8 stations are intermediate stations. They are necessary to efficiently connect the ART stations with developments owned by conglomerates. For government-owned properties, the government will most likely to agree for its use as a station. The lot will be developed into a high-value property development at no cost to the government. After the concession period of, say, 25 to 35 years, the property will be owned by the government. Simultaneously, the government will be able to help reduce the horrendous traffic in Metro Cebu. Another reason for an intermediate station between stations with conglomerate presence is government restrictions. For example, we could have made a shortcut connection between Mez 2 and Newtown, but this cannot be done since the route will cross the pathway of the airport runway. 2 intermediate stations are made, namely Marigondon and Maribago. These 2 stations are located in densely populated areas. Thus, it will significantly contribute to the daily ridership of the line to the advantage of the conglomerates. Furthermore, the conglomerates will earn income from the commercial spaces that will be located at the station. Smaller stations are made in private areas as right-of-way for public infrastructure projects is generally difficult to acquire in the Philippines. Bigger stations are made in government areas to attract conglomerates to invest in ART. This is a picture of the 6 ART lines with the travel times in minutes between stations. The total travel time from a station to any other station can easily be done by mental math. The distances between stations can be approximated using this scale. We will show 2 examples of travel times between 2 destinations. First example is from South Coast City to CBP. Second example is from CBP to the airport. This is a table of the travel time data of the 2 examples. These are the approximate average travel times of the ART, car, and public vehicle. Travel by car is up to 4 times longer than by ART. Travel by public vehicle is up to 6 times longer than by ART. Travel time along congested roads in Cebu is unpredictable mainly because of so many factors such as traffic congestion. In contrast, travel time by ART is exact. It is not affected by traffic, flooding during heavy rain, or road accidents. Another advantage of ART over a car, public vehicle, and even a BRT or LRT is its ability to travel in shortcuts. We know from high school math that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. ART travels in straight lines between 2 stations. In contrast, a car, public vehicle, BRT, and LRT have to travel through a road between 2 stations. In most cases, the route is not a straight line. We will show more details of the 2 examples. First is the SCC-CBP route. This is a travel simulation of the route. Second is the CBP airport line. This is the travel simulation of the route. distance traveled by a car or public vehicle is almost 2 times longer than that of an ART. Travel by car is 4 times slower. Travel by public vehicle is 6 times slower. ART stops only 3 times. Car stops about 50 times due to heavy traffic. Public vehicle will stop about 20 times more for a total of 70 stops. A public vehicle needs to disembark and embark passengers along the route beside the sidewalk. Another advantage of ART over all other modes of transport is the no waiting time needed in an ART. Waiting for a jeepney or bus at a vehicle stop is not a problem in busy routes in urbanized cities like Cebu and Manila. The waiting times will be less than 1 minute for a jeepney and 2 to 5 minutes for a bus. In the case of mass transportation, it will generally be 3 to 10 minutes. Most of the time, the passenger platform will be empty since boarding and deboarding takes only less than 1 minute. An example is this BRT station, this LRT station, and this subway station. ART cabins continually arrive every few seconds. There will be no overcrowding of cabins at the station because an equivalent number of cabins will also continually leave every few seconds on the opposite side of the passenger platform. The cabins will decelerate one by one as they enter the station. Afterwards, they will move at a slow, constant speed. As the cabin enters this point, the doors start to open. Passengers can start deboarding while the cabin moves slowly. At this point, there will be a transition of a few seconds wherein deboarding is no longer allowed. After the transition, passengers can start boarding while the cabin continues to move slowly. Afterwards, the cabin will accelerate one by one as they leave the station. Passengers who do not want to deboard can stay at the cabin until they reach their desired destination station. There will always be a stream of 6 slow-moving cabins at the platform to allow passengers to continually deboard and board the cabins. The passenger platform is never empty of cabins. Unlike all other modes of transport, there is no need for passengers to wait for transport vehicles to arrive. ART passengers do not waste 3 to 10 minutes of waiting time. Most Filipinos are still skeptical of ART based on comments made by netizens and the response of government and investors to ART since it was introduced to the Philippines in 2014. One of the most common negative comments of ART is that it is too slow. In TV and YouTube, a viewer can see that an ART cabin appears to move very slowly, whereas public vehicles can travel at a top speed of 150 kph. However, in city roads, if there is no traffic, it can go only 90 kph. This is 4 times the top speed of an ART. In real-life conditions of average traffic in Metro Cebu, ART is instead 4 times faster than a public vehicle. Once the public learns about the facts of the capabilities of an ART, perceptions and support will change. From skeptical, they will become surprised. One of the major advantages of ART is its higher ridership compared to many BRTs and monorails and some LRTs. The degree of ridership is most crucial to investors as it will provide the proportionate degree of net income to their ART investment. The many advantages of ART over other modes of mass transport will be elaborated or explained in other videos. Filipinos will be even more surprised how this cheaper mode of mass transport can be better in many ways than other modes of transport.